Ever thought about leaving and starting over? That's exactly what I did. I sold my cars, I sold my house, I sold my businesses, and I moved my family from the United States to the Dominican Republic. Now, in this video, I'm gonna share with you the reasons behind the life-changing decision, why we decided to leave, how our lives have improved, and what obstacles we've had endured while being here in the Dominican Republic. Because remember, no place is perfect. Hey everyone, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Jonah. And today, I'm gonna share with you the reasons why I traded the American dream for the Dominican dream. But first, I'm going to tell you where this originated from and how I got the idea of moving from the United States to the Dominican Republic. This started when I was 5 years old, when I used to come to the Dominican Republic as a young kid. I used to spend time here in the summers visiting my family. Now, let's be clear, Dominican Republic in the 1990s and Dominican Republic today are two completely different places. Now, the Dominican Republic that I fell in love with that still exists but isn't as popular was the Dominican Republic where I used to come out here and power would go out, there'd be no water, and we would have to sleep with what was called a mosquitero. Mosquitero was pretty much this net around your bed so that the mosquitoes wouldn't eat you alive because there wasn't power and there wasn't anything that you could use in order to distract the mosquitoes. So the reason why I fell in love with this island, and I'll explain a little bit later here in the video, but it's because I truly fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the way of living and the lifestyle here in the Dominican Republic. Now, someone who was raised and born in the United States like myself, I realized that a lot of the small things that we stress about back in the US were luxuries, and I appreciate it, such as hot water, electricity 24 hours a day, having Wi-Fi, things that weren't so normal here that were normal back over there that we didn't appreciate or get towards. So that's when I truly started beginning to appreciate the little things in life, because having everything that you need, sometimes you don't truly appreciate what you have until you lose it. So like I said, this started when I was 5 years old. But fast forward to 2013, when I met my now wife, I decided to make a plan and move to the Dominican Republic, and I started talking to different people, figuring out what the cost of living was, how much I needed to live, where I wanted to live, and so forth. And so I started creating a plan. Now, anybody who's thinking about moving abroad, not just the Dominican Republic, it's really important for you to create your own vision board, your own plan, your financial plan, your short-term and your long-term plan, so that you set yourself up for success regardless of where you move. One of the most popular questions that I get is why? Why did you decide to leave the United States, the American dream, the land where so many people give up their homeland and move to? Before I start, before people think that I'm attacking the United States, I'm extremely appreciative for what the United States has given me, what it's offered. I grew up there, I was born there, it gave me my education, it's where I met my wife, it's where I started my businesses. So I'm extremely grateful. I think a lot of times people take my comparisons to the Dominican Republic out of context and think that I'm trying to bash it. However, it's me trying to give parallels and to give people a clear understanding as to what there is here in Dominican Republic and what is similar to the United States. The first reason why we decided to leave the United States was for safety. We felt that it was no longer safe for us to send our kids to school. We didn't feel safe going to shopping centers. We didn't feel safe being out. Where I lived, I grew up in Texas. We lived in Austin. The homeless population, seeing things that weren't there, the increase in crime, property crime, murders, all those things were reasons why we started to question, is this where we wanted to raise a family? Is this where we wanted to be? Is this where we wanted our girls to receive their education, which, if everybody knows, education isn't the greatest. Number two was the work culture. As an entrepreneur myself, I just felt like I was constantly working. And there was no work-life balance. In the American culture, people live to work. I'm the type of person where I like to work to live. I understand I have to work, I understand I have to pay my bills, but work doesn't define who I am. Work doesn't make me. Therefore, I truly believe that with this work-life balance that I have here in Dominican Republic, not only has it reduced my stress, but it has allowed me to improve my standard of living and so forth. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Number three is political tension. As anybody who lives in the United States knows, over the last 8 to 12 years, political tension has been at an all-time high. Past weekend, there was just an attempted assassination, and it only goes to show how tense the situation is over there. And as an outsider looking in, I'm grateful not to be in that situation. I'm grateful to see it from afar and not have to be in that whole divide and conquer approach that they try to do in the Matrix. And if you're there, you know what I'm talking about. Number 4 is morals. I feel like, we've completely lost that. Families have disappeared in the States. Now they're pushing agendas on kids at a young age, things that I just personally don't agree with and things that don't align with my family values, my morals. Therefore, I didn't think that it deemed fit for my family and I. And the last one is, for the first time, as someone who grew up there, I got tired of people, playing the race card, people saying, go back to your country. And this is where my family's from. These are where my roots are from. Decided to give it a shot. And now I'm sharing my story, and a lot of people are getting upset because people said, go back to your country. I'm here. I'm having a time of my life, and I wish I had done it sooner. Now we're gonna talk about the reasons why I moved to the Dominican Republic, and stay tuned because the last one is going to surprise you quite a bit. It's a little bit controversial. So the first reason why I decided to move to the Dominican Republic is a better quality of life. Here in the Dominican Republic, we found that it has a slower pace of life that allows us to truly enjoy each day. Like I mentioned earlier, the whole live to work instead of work to live culture, that's something that we got extremely tired of. We're able to spend more time with family. We're able to visit, world-class beaches. We're able to have warm weather, the culture, the friendly people. It's just a combination of a multitude of things that really gives this place its true unique feeling. And most importantly, a recent report came out, it was the #1 country in the world with mental health. One of those things that people here are happy, they don't stress about the little things in life. You don't see all the Karens out there making a big deal about littlest things. And something that I've really learned is that even those that have the least amount of monetary wealth are usually the ones that are the wealthiest when it comes down to happiness. And some people at home may be like, well, what is he talking about? They don't have money. Well, yes, and when you talk to those people, rather than profile them, because that's what we've been done, that's what we've been trained to do is, oh, well, that person doesn't have a Lamborghini, or that person doesn't have a car, or that person lives in a shack. And we profile these people, give it time, talk to them. It's one of the things that I do all the time is going out to these communities, talking to these individuals and seeing that we really wanted to trade the constant hustle and stress for our life for more of a relaxed and fulfilling lifestyle. People work their tails off, but on the weekend it's really hard to get people to work because they're spending time with their families, they're out on the beach, and they are enjoying that work-life balance. A lot of people ask, well, how did your lives improve once you made the move? When we talk about the move to the Dominican Republic, it's important for us to remember that when I talk about a move, I'm talking about a parallel move. Someone moving from the Dominican Republic to the United States, or Dominican Republic to Spain, or vice versa. I want to make sure that my quality of life isn't going to be reduced. I want to make sure that I'm in a healthier and happier place. And by doing that, one thing that I've realized is that the middle class and upper class here in the Dominican Republic definitely lives 1,000,000 times better than middle class and upper class in the United States. That is hands down. First of all, the middle class in the US is diminishing by the day. And you don't have to be a finance guru to see how people are living paycheck to paycheck and they're struggling. Whereas a lot of the middle class and upper class families here in the Dominican Republic have things like a domestic worker in their home that are helping them to cook, to clean, do the laundry, help out with the kids, take the kids to the school. And what does that do? That allows me to free up time from having to do household duties that cause friction between my wife and I'll be honest, and allows me to open up more time, create more content, spend more time with my family, spend more time with my girls, and it allows me to do things that I want to do rather than spend my weekends after a long week having to do laundry. Now, I acknowledge that's not everybody here in Dominican Republic. However, I am comparing apples to apples because I'm comparing middle-class Dominican and upper-class Dominican to the middle-class American and upper-class American, because that, unfortunately, is something that people always try to throw in comments in the IG like, oh, well, you can't compare it. It's unfair to compare Dominican Republic and the United States because 300 million versus 11 million. Your lifestyle and your quality of life is your quality of life. And when you talk to middle class and upper class Dominicans, you don't hear them talking about wanting to leave the country or wanting to go to the United States or go to Spain for something else. they'll go to those places to go shop, they'll go vacation there, they'll go do different types of things, but they won't go there specifically to, move, because they understand the quality of life here is something that is unmatched in most places. Another thing that I really like about the culture here is how family friendly it is. As someone who has kids, as someone who's constantly thinking about my daughters, I can tell you 100% the way they treat kids here is like royalty. I wish I had my wife here. I wish she could tell you some of the stories and some of the comparisons. As soon as you get here to the airport and you land and you have kids, you have people taking you through express lines. If you have kids and you're in a parking lot and there's parking spaces available designated, they'll open it up. Kids here are treated like kings and queens, and that's something that I truly value. It's a fostering environment, it's welcoming, and it's supportive, and so I really do enjoy that. The other thing is the food. The food here in the Dominican Republic is just incredible. From your fresh fruits to your vegetables to your seafood. I used to be hospitalized at least one time a year in the US due to food issues. And since moving here, I'm gonna knock on wood right now. This is not even wood, but thank God I haven't had any issues. Why? Because I'm eating real food. I'm not eating chicken that looks like the size of this microphone. I'm eating vegetables that are organic. I'm eating off of a tree. If you all have seen my content, sometimes y'all see me live. Last week I was live and I was in a campo, and you saw kids literally showing me where they lived, and they were literally picking things off of the trees and eating it right there in front of me. That to me is organic. Now, some people will call that hippie, or some people will call that son liberales. And it's one of the things that I've learned since moving away is that if somebody tells you that, that's the right way to do things. We're going to grocery stores now, filling our bodies with, toxic chemicals, whereas all these people that are poor, a lot of them live in what's called these ranchos. They grow their own food. They eat their own food. They're eating better than a lot of people are in the States, because you don't even know what you're eating in the States. They're eating fruits with seeds, whereas over there, they don't have seeds anymore in the food. So it's one of those things that you really have to do your research, do your due diligence, and understand wow, that person isn't poor. That person is eating real food. They may not have the nicest house, but as far as their health, they're probably healthier than anybody that's going to a grocery store eating Red 40, eating all these dyes, all of this vegetable oil, all these things that are clogging our arteries and not making us any healthy. So I definitely feel like I'm eating healthier. I feel better. I'm not in the hospital every single year because of those problems. So that's something that I didn't think was gonna be have such a positive impact on me and my body, but it has. Another thing that I really enjoy about the Dominican Republic is the tropical weather. It doesn't matter if it's December or January. I know I can go outside in shorts. I know I can go to the beach. I don't have to question it. If it's hurricane season, the only thing that we're battling is the rain. However, weather is something that I enjoy and I love here in the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is a microcontinent, all right? So depending on where you want to be, what kind of climate, the Dominican Republic offers it all. So if you want to be at the beach one day and you want to be in the mountains the next, this island has it all. You can even go to the sand dunes. So the country's natural beauty is one of the things that really attracted us here to the Dominican Republic. Another reason is the affordable healthcare. Affordable healthcare services are often more affordable here in the Dominican Republic than they are in the United States. And for us, that was something that was important, because many expats that move to the Dominican Republic find that they can find high quality medical care for a fraction of the price here in the Dominican Republic. And I'll make another video on the medical tourism here in the Dominican Republic. I'll make another video talking about the medical tourism here in the Dominican Republic. As you can tell by the name, Jay Gives Back. I wanted to get involved in the communities. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to make a difference. And when I returned to the Dominican Republic, I returned with a mission to support underserved communities through educational initiatives such as arts and crafts, teaching financial literacy, helping develop these communities that are often forgot about. So I've made it a mission of mine to collaborate closely with schools by organizing different events, different drives to help empower individuals and families for a brighter future. So I truly believe that through education, through these different programs, initiatives that we're doing, we are leaving a positive imprint in these communities for these families to try to help build better futures. And how do we do that? We do that collaboratively. We do that by working with communities. So we've done different events at schools and we've had a great time. We did a Christmas event last year, where we brought a Santa in, we brought in food, we brought in activities, toys for the kids, and it's something that, you know, I cherish. It's one of my favorite events. We also did a drive out in Lawrence, Massachusetts, where we raised school supplies for kids. We also did a arts and craft day in La Cumbre and also in Cienfuegos. So we've done different things here the last couple of weeks, and we continue to do it as we have plenty of donations still to give. So this is only the beginning. Together we can make a difference in the lives of those who need the most fostering by providing them learning opportunities that they may not have been able to give otherwise. And now the deal breaker. This is the real reason why we left the United States and moved to the Dominican Republic, and this was a huge deal breaker for us, and it's safety. Now safety, contrary to popular belief or contrary to what you may see, Dominican Republic is a safe country, okay? Now it's not perfect. I do acknowledge that, you know, crimes do exist, but most of the crimes that happen are petty crimes like cell phone robberies, and a lot of the violence that goes on and a lot of the killings and that you see are usually domestic. You don't see mass, you know what? You don't see things happening in schools or churches or shopping centers. You mostly see them in isolated incidents. So that's really important to acknowledge that crime does exist here, but not to the level where you have to worry about, you know, being unalived, you know, going to the grocery store. Now, one of our biggest concerns was finding a safe environment. And people are like, well, Dominican Republic is safe. Like, how are you going to Dominican Republic? Why would you think Dominican Republic is safe? Just like anywhere in the world, Dominican Republic has its good neighborhoods and its bad neighborhoods. And if you do your due diligence and you look, you're going to find neighborhoods that are safe, neighborhoods where, you know, constantly being controlled by police. You're gonna find luxury buildings that cost $1 million plus with private security, gated entrances, gated garages. A lot of people that criticize haven't even visited Dominican Republic, right? So it's really important for you to understand that we wanted to be able to send our girls to school at ease without having to worry about anything happening. So our kids going to school and feeling secure, that's priceless, okay? That's something that money can't buy. The challenges, right? Like I said, moving to Dominican Republic, if I told you that it was all perfect and all, you know, glamorous and there was no hiccups, I'd completely be lying to you. There have been some adjustments that we've had to make. There have been some things that we've had to pretty much swallow. And some of those things may not bother, but me personally, they do. Now, for example, the driving here in Dominican Republic, it's insane, okay? So if you're learning how to drive, I take a lot of caution if you're thinking about moving to the Dominican Republic and, you know, bringing a new vehicle out here or anything like that, because you have motoristas, you have these motoconchos that, you know, go in between you and they're driving through the lanes and there's no care in the world. So if you're buying an expensive vehicle, you know, be cautious of those things. And also the trash, you know, the trash is something that unfortunately is something that you're gonna see everywhere. Right now, I'm working with a school in Bayaguana, and we're trying to create initiatives on a recycling program and how we can combat the trash and recycling issues in these communities by starting a pilot program and then expanding it to other schools. That's part of the giving back, and that's part of the trying to make a difference here in the Dominican Republic, because, you know, if you notice, I didn't move out here because the cost of living, because Dominican Republic is not cheap. Our Dominican Republic isn't what people say, and I'll make a completely different video about that, analyzing the cost of the day-to-day living, how much it costs, how much it, you know, to live in one of these neighborhoods that people call Popi land or whatever, or El Centro, you know, such as Piantini, Naco. So we'll make those type of videos. So there you have it, better quality of life, giving back campaigns, and safety. Those are the three main reasons why I traded my life in the United States and moved to the Dominican Republic. It's been an incredible journey so far, and I look forward to continuing to share it. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.